tier sets are a big thing, right? It's a major part of the game. Tier set bonuses can oftentimes make the game more exciting, or they can just be kind of bland, right? We've seen tier set bonuses that are just stat sticks, and we've seen tier set bonuses that completely change your rotation. It's time to rank them. Here we go. 11.2 tier sets ranked. Winners and losers and a secret meta? Let's see what our friend Addison2K has to say about the tier sets and how it's all looking for Season 3.
Good thing you're here. I have to explain how I did the tier list rankings. Because there were no sims, and I stopped collecting data exactly after 1 week after the first reveal, I decided to do a community-based tier list. Now please note that I'm going to come back to this tier list a week before Season 3 releases. We'll update the list and then compare and contrast and see how far off we were or how far on we were. Is your favorite class getting nerfed? Who knows? Anyways, I used data from a lot of community-driven places that have to do with World of Warcraft, such as Wowhead guides and comments, YouTube comments, the WoW forums. The majority of my information came from class discords.
Okay.
Smaller sites
Class discords are good.
Huh? Pallies are cool. 2025 Noxic. I took
Raid today, maybe.
Formatted it, gave it to AI Addison, and he turned out some numbers, which we're going to go ahead and look at today. This is editing Addison. I just wanted to say this is the short, condensed version where I only rank the tier sets on my tier list. If you'd like to check out the longer version, linked below. I quickly edited that so that you could just get all of the tiers ranked and no fluff. If you like fluff, check out the long form version. Anyways, let's get into it.
Okay, cool.
Looking back at our tier list here, we have a Deathbringer Blood Death Knight up first. We're going to give it a C. Fans love the Scythe Fantasy and Burst Window, yet complain about random Dancing Rude Weapon and nerf compensating RNG.
Yeah, I hate RNG.
Looking at
tier
Saline
sets.
Blood Death Knight, we're going to go ahead and give that an A. With a
move
big
over
single
here.
target buff, AoE smoothed out, and still a tiny bit degenerate if stacked Snowball, overall feels stronger and less swingy. Back to our tier list here, we have Deathbringer Frost Death Knight, and where we put it? In B. Widely praised for chunky Exterminate windows, and now damaging Router by approximately 40%, making this spec feel rewarding despite extra button spam. Looking at Routers of the Apocalypse for Frost Death Knight, we're going to go ahead and put that in C. The theme is cool, but actual DPS lag's way behind. And folks have jokingly said, why are you...
Like, a cool theme matters, but yeah, if your DPS is going to lag behind, obviously it's just not viable. It's not good.
Playing this spec. Back to our tier list here, looking at Routers of the Apocalypse for Unholy Death Knight. We're gonna go ahead and give it a C. Big single target pop and cool horses, but damage still trails behind an AoE.
That's sad.
Several players said it's not fun. Switching gears to
It's
Samuel
sad because the horses are cool.
and Unholy Death Knight, we're gonna go ahead and put that in B. Widely called the better hero spec of the two. It offers smoother wound play, strong AoE, and folks will miss it next expansion. I won't. But back at our tier list here, we have Eldrachi Reaver.
Okay, so for Death Knight, that means Blood DK specifically. Blood DK playing a Sandland, best combination for Death Knights, and I'm glad. That's what I'm playing right now, so I don't got to change anything.
Havoc Demon Hunters. We're gonna go ahead and put this one in A. There's higher peak damage. It looks quote-unquote bonkers. It wins most raid sims, but it's mechanically nuanced and visually bland for some. Switching over to Felscarred Havoc Demon Hunter, we're gonna go ahead and put this one in C. It's easier to play and solid in keys. And even played wrong, it does okay, but lags a few percent behind its counterpart, and it still leans on soul juggling.
Okay.
And that's lame. Back at our tier list here, we have Eldrachi Reaver, a Vengeance Demon Hunter. We're gonna put this one in B. Buffs, and the buffs to Fractured Soul Cleave, and the huge Eldrachi numbers. People love this. Loved for funnel memes, and no Spirit Bomb. But it sims a touch lower overall, but it might be more fun to play. Flipping over to Felscarred Vengeance Demon Hunter, we're gonna put this one in B. It was constantly called more damage. 30% Immolation Aura and Soul Cleave buff, plus 20% Demon Soul uptime.
I wonder if Vengeance is still going to be the meta.
Fine juggling Spirit Bomb. Back to our tier list here, we've got Alun's Chosen Balanced Druid. We're gonna put this one in A. Favorite for keys, double beam wow factor, and smoother rotation. This one's got it all. Looking at
Nice.
Keepers
I
of
feel
the-
like Balanced Druid has been doing really good overall lately. I mean, it's just, I feel like it's in a good spot. I just see Balanced Druids coming in and pumping, and it looks like they got an A tier here, so that'll continue going forward. Also, just a quick comment. I mean, I said Vengeance Demon Hunter. Is it still going to be the best meta tank? I mean, they got an A tier slot too, so
Grove Balanced
maybe.
Druid. We're gonna put this one in C. A niche utility, but bonus feels tacked on and makes no sense to several posters. Back to our tier list here. Looking at Druid of the Claw Feral Druid, we're gonna give it a C. It's more interactive, but riddled with bugs, and it needs big buffs. Looking at Wild Stalker Feral Druid,
I felt like earlier in the expansion, Blizzard was trying to make Feral Druid a thing again, and it just didn't. They just didn't. Like, they went halfway. If you remember the DPS charts, like maybe midway through the first season, Feral Druid had like made a comeback and was like on the upper half of DPS charts, and then they stopped. I felt like they stopped messing with it and they just let it fall off again.
We're gonna go ahead and give that a C as well. Higher raid
And
DPS
if they don't get a good
rock
tier set
DPS,
bonus,
but
it's going to be the
boring
same
single
thing
target
again.
and boring overall. Back to our tier list here. We've got Druid of the Claw, Guardian Druid. We're gonna give this a C. Popular EC mentions cite
Yeah, this
big
is not
cooldown, cooldown reduction bursts, and dungeon success.
Not good for
Drawbacks
Feral.
are mainly bugs, not fundamentals. Looking at Alun's chosen Guardian Druid, we're gonna give it a B. Called shameless, dead, and bugged. Though a few arguments still are there for ramp specs. It needs fixes and buffs to even compete. Where does Keepers of the Grove Resto Druid go? In D. This one's just bugged. It just needs a bunch of fixes. Good luck. Looking at Wildstalker Resto Druid, we're going to put this one in S. Constantly praised for throughput and fun, it rocks in M+. And there's no nerfs as of yet, or is there? The only worry is future tuning and big
Resto
nerf.
Druids.
Back at our tier list here, we have Chrono Warden
tier sets.
Augmentation Evoker. This is going to go in C. Fun Pigment of Time flavor, unique party utility, but poor haste scaling. You feel like a life-bind bot. Awkward and pugs, please help. Flipping to Scale Commander Augmentation Evoker, we're going to put this one in A.
Hey!
It synergizes amazingly with Breath of Eons. Cool visuals. And the tooltip's finally fixed. You can hard desync.
Nice. So, I mean, Augmentation Evoker can be fixed by a tier set bonus, for sure. Like, you got a class that's lagging behind, you got a class that's just floundering like Augmentation has been. You put a good tier set bonus in there, and you can completely flip a class from a D tier to an A tier. I've seen it many times in many expansions. I mean, there was a time when Blood Decay in Shadowlands was such bad DPS in terms of output, but that tier set bonus from, what was it? Not Sanctum of Domination. What the hell was the last raid in that one called? It wasn't Sanctum of Domination. What the fuck was it? The last raid in Shadowlands. Whatever it was. Tier set bonus from there was amazing. And when it stacked properly and when you did everything right and when you just spammed the shit out of Heartstrike, it was just, you just did great things. Sepulcher, yeah. Once you got your tier set bonus as a Blood Decay in that expansion, you completely flipped from being like a D tier DPS tank to an A tier DPS tank. So yeah, you can fix the Augmentation Evoker with a really good tier set bonus.
Offensives, and it's still pretty buggy in the logs though. Back at our tier list here, looking at Flame Shaper Devastation Evoker, we're going to put this one in A. It beats Scale Commander at 5+ targets, and it has solid AoE, but more than half the channel's chant.
Evoker's got 2 A tier sets for their specs.
PCR cycle. It's strong but clunky. And flipping over to Scale Commander Devastation Evoker, we're going to give this one a C. Again, the tooltip was finally fixed, and single target burst is praised. Yet some refer to it as Fury Warrior in dragon form, and falls off in wilder pools. Back to our tier list here, looking at Chrono Warden Preservation Evoker, we're going to put this one in C. It's praised for its burst healing and synergy, yet mocked for its 0 haste scaling, and being a life-bind bot yet again. Several people said it was declared dead. Looking at Flame Shaper Preservation Evoker, we're gonna give this one a B. Seen as a fallback if Chrono Warden fails, if Chrono Warden forces Blossom casts. Players call it more fun and useful in Mythic Plus, and there's fewer complaints overall. Back here at tier lists, we're gonna at Dark Ranger Beast Mastery Hunter. We're gonna give this one a C. The reviews are mostly lukewarm to negative. Several users called it still dead, saying it's too AoE focused and in need of buffs. A few note that the 4-piece Withering Fires could be strong. Looking at Pack Leader Beast Mastery Hunter, we're gonna give this one an A. It's mostly hype. Juicy bonuses line up with constant Bestial Wrath, and the new Stampede proc slaps in M+, and raids. The only gripe is clarity.
Bestiality Enjoyers will be very happy with this. But I already actually read before that Beast Mastery Hunter is looking on the up.
Back here at our tier wall, looking at Dark Ranger Marksman Hunter.
Jokes
this
aside.
one's going to get an S. An S. Very positive.
Wow.
It is the go-to for single target and even respectable cleave.
Wow.
Synergizes perfectly with the new 4-piece and CDR loot. Buffing Marksman plus buffing DR plus DR set. Flipping over to Sentinel Marksman Hunter, we're going to give this one a C. Overall pretty mixed. Praise for huge AoE potential and infinite loot memes. But people find the downtime pretty clunky. Back at our tier wall here, we got
Hunter overall, I feel like, has been doing good in this expansion. It's been in a good place. There's been a viable, what's it called, specs every single step of the way for Hunter. They've been doing good on DPS charts and everything. And their tier set bonus, I mean, look at that. They got an S tier.
Survival Hunter. We're going to give this one an A.
For marksmanship.
It's consistent damage, stampede bursts, and it brings group utility. Repeatedly stated, it's the better option of the two. Flipping over to Sentinel Survival
Another
Hunter.
A tier for Beast Mastery.
It's cozy, low maintenance playstyle, but the burst drops off heavily. And the bonus for the tier set is deemed meh. Just in time for the tier wall, we have Spellslinger Arcane Mage. We're going to give this one a B. This is the AoE king for keys, someone said. And someone answered, it dunks on trash. Still bis in many of the sims, but some fear incoming nerfs. list. Looking at Sun Fury Arcane Mage, we're gonna give this one an A. Someone said it has comfy execute flavored playstyle and super strong single target, but it has weaker burst potential and nothing has really changed since last season. Back here at the tier wall, we're looking at Frostfire Fire Mage. We're gonna give this one an A. Flashy numbers, flashy burn plus big numbers.
Yeah.
Woo. All the clunky mastery talk was shrugged off by big damage.
I feel like Blizzard's been playing a lot with the Frostfire spec. I don't play Mage this expansion, so I don't know enough about it to like seriously talk about it. But I just know from patch notes that Frostfire has been a big focus for them.
At Sun Fury Fire Mage,
so good to see their tier set's good.
It's stylish but unreliable. It needs tuning or a quality life touch to reclaim the spot. It needs help. Back at the tier wall, we're looking at Frostfire Frost Mage. We're gonna give this one a C. As flashy Phoenix Flame visuals, but AoE and single target balancing and scaling issues keep trust super low. Looking at Spellslinger Frost Mage, we're gonna give this one a B. It is better scaling after the 40% mastery buff, and it's a lot more stable in Sims. And people like stable things. Well, some of us. Just in time for the tier wall. Don't you love when a Brewmaster just falls over? Looking at Master of Harmony, Brewmaster Monk, we're going to give this one a B. It looks stronger in single target and gives a chunky self-heal, but several players called it boring compared to the other hero talent. Conversely, looking at Shadow Pan Brewmaster Monk, we're going to give this one an A. Widely described as fun and powerful in many AoE situations, it synergizes cleanly with the new tier set's flurry procs. Play feels praised. At the tier wall here, we're looking at Conduit of the Celestials Mistweaver Monk. We're going to give this one an A. Praised for its familiar, press for burst, cooldown,
Mistweaver's good,
and fewer bugs. Viewed as reliable and rated M+. Taking a look at Master of Harmony Mistweaver Monk, we're gonna give this one a B. Liked for its passive throughput amp, and popularity Mythic Plus, but chatter about tuning gaps and lingering bugs keep trust low. Go back to the tier wall yet again. We have Conduit of the Celestials Windwalker Monk. We're gonna give this one an S. Widely viewed as the go-to in raids and Mythic Plus. Players praise its ceiling if you are able to nail the opener. Looking at
Monk's been on the up and up too. I feel like Monk was forgotten early in the expansion, but lately has been getting a lot of love. So it looks like that love's continuing.
Windwalker Monk. We're gonna give this one an A.
At least for Windwalker.
Roughly equal to its predecessor in Mythic Plus and easier to play overall, but if you recommend it for progging raid. At the tier wall yet again, we have Herald of the Sun, Holy Paladin. We're gonna give this one a C. Burst healing and familiar playstyle, but spread healing, weakness, and low synergy leave it trailing behind Lightsmith. Speaking of Lightsmith, we're looking at Lightsmith, Holy Paladin here. We're gonna give this one an A. It's viewed as the stronger of the two as a plug-and-play option. Big bump for the Season 3 tier compared
Big
to
difference
Season 2,
there.
and has an easier rotational flow now. Looking at Lightsmith, Protection Paladin. We're gonna give this one an A. It's gonna be the default raid and key pick. Easy damage.
Double A for
Paladins.
Paladins.
It plays clean with tier and no bug drama. Speaking of bugs, looking at Templar Protection Paladin, we're gonna give this one a C. It's still praised when working, but unfortunately the first week it came out.
So far, if you notice, every tank spec is sitting in A tier. Every tank spec has an A tier version of the bonus. So
1.2, there was a ton of bugs.
Interesting.
So trust is super low.
We'll see who the meta tank is.
This next one's pretty sad. Looking at Herald of the Sun Retribution Paladin, we're gonna give this a D. If there was an F, I'd give it an F, but we can't. Some quotes blows. Why is it still in the game? Who plays this? Herald is Herald. Looking at Templar Retribution Paladin, we're going to give this one an S. This one was quoted as slaps.
Oh, yeah.
Wild. Many are testing builds around it, and the only...
Yeah, I mean, Paladin's never bad. It's just never bad. You can always, if they fuck up one, you know the other one's going to be OP, so there you go.
The concern is the overcapping of Holy Power.
Templar Templar Retribution.
Oracle Discipline Priest. We're going to give this one the highest grade, S. Massive burst shielding and CDR. This one was praised a lot. People love the mini barrier every 30 seconds, but they fear the nerfs that might come. Looking at Void Weaver Discipline Priest, we're going to give this one a C. Flashier visuals, but throughput's lacking. Community calls it copium, unless Blizz buffs atonement healing. Back here at the tier wall, looking at Archon Holy Priest, we're going to give it a C. It's fun and easy, but being super Halo locked in, it needs buffs. Looking at Oracle Holy Priest, we're going to give this one an A. There's what someone called bonkers throughput, and someone said POM abuse. It's strong in raid and keys and will be played. Back here at the tier wall, looking at Archon Shadow Priest, we're going to give this one a C. It generates a ton of insanity and is more fun for some, but others call the bonus and damage tuning is a little bit behind. Speaking of Void Weaver Shadow Priest here, we're going to give this one.
I hope it's good. Void Reaver Shadow Priest and an expansion based around the fucking Void and ethereals and all that shit should be good for this patch. It really should. Let's see what he puts it at.
An A. It's viewed as the stronger between the two and has
a
burst heavy option. Buffs.
I like it when the lore kind of syncs up with the classes, like the best class for a lore, like a druidic part. Maybe when we went into the Emerald Dream, right? I said, like, right now, druids should be really good, right? Like, this should be their top moment to shine, and they kind of were. Now, looking right now, we're going into the Void, ethereals, all this shit. Shadow Priest should be really good. I'm just saying.
Ahead of Archon, Void Weaver was the go-to in a poll between Void Weaver and Archon.
Ice Crown Citadel, Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah, Death Knight should be really good. I just like it when it kind of works out that way.
We got Deathstalker Assassination Rogue. We're gonna give this one a B. Dry Shiv Windows obliterate priority targets, someone said. Still the safest rotation for Sin, making it both flashy and forgiving. Looking at Fate-bound Assassination Rogue, we're gonna give this one a C. Coin flip cooldown is cool in theory, but you have straight RNG pain when you miss it. Back here at the tier wall, and looking at Fate-bound yet again for Outlaw Rogues, we're gonna give this a C for the exact same reason last time. Flipping a coin and just getting
How's
not
Rogue
nothing
looking?
is feels terrible. Looking at Trickster Outlaw Rogue, we're gonna give this one an A. This was, and I quote, an exciting one.
There it
Double
is.
Coop meme, smoother with the chaos rework. Only gripe was tracking reset, someone said. Deathstalker Subtlety Rogue, we're gonna give this one a C. Adds a gimmick dot that barely
sub
dents the
titty.
meters. Most rogues
At a C
swap to
tier.
Trickster once they see the numbers. Speaking of looking at Trickster Subtlety Rogue here, we're gonna give this one an A. The double coop 4-piece into a meme highlight reel, and still parses near the top. Back here at the summon tier list, we got Farseer Elemental Shaman. We're gonna give this one a B. Ancestor Totems look sick, and Pad Logs.
I thought he said Fartseer. For a second there, I was like, what's going on?
Single target is a
Okay.
tier behind Stormbringer. Speaking of, we got Stormbringer Elemental Shaman. We're gonna give this one an A. Someone called it a lightning carnival. Chain crits, proc fireworks.
I know this chart's getting like maybe overwhelming to look at, but just like taking on visually what I'm seeing here, the most is C tier, which is I don't know how I'm feeling then. And but like I guess if you consider if you combine A and S, well then they're kind of close, right? Then that means we actually got a decent amount of really good tier set bonuses. So you want to look at it half full or half empty?
Crowd goes wild until you get nerfed. At the tier wall yet again, we got Stormbringer Enhancement Shaman. We're gonna give this one a B. Massive bursts if you nail the timing right, but miss a proc and your damage flatlines. Looking at Totemic Enhancement Shaman, we're gonna give this one a C. This version's a low stress, very chill playstyle. Fewer buttons, fewer mistakes, just cruise. Here's our tier wall, and we're looking at Farseer Resto Shaman. We're gonna give this one a B. Spirit Ancestry visuals score style points, yet raw HPS lags behind. Flipping over to Totemic Resto Shaman here, we're gonna give this one a B2. Spam Healing Rain, rake in passive buffs, and watch raid leaders smile. Simple, effective, just don't fall asleep. Our
Okay.
tier wall, Hellcaller
make
Affliction
aggro.
Warlock. We're gonna give this one a D. Perceived as mechanically busy
Damn.
and very lackluster, forcing
D
the
for
whole
damn.
rotation around one dot. Some like the concept, but many called it tragic in practice. Flipping over to Soul Harvester Affliction Warlock. We're gonna give this one a C. This is seen as the smoother, more burst-friendly option, and someone called it interesting.
Okay,
Someone said it looks way better than H.
I don't know how Warlock's looking overall, but this is not a good start. They got a C and a D tier for their tier sets so far.
But it's still criticized for theme execution and afterthought souls. Back at the tier wall here, we have Diabolist Demonology Warlock. We're gonna give this one a B. Summons extra critters every
Okay,
cycle.
it's the best
Great
one so
spectacle,
far.
But you're stuck behind 3 oculi. Looking at Soul Harvest Demonology Warlock, we're gonna give this one an A. It's a shard printer on
There you go.
steroids. PTR sims so high that people.
So far, every class has a hero / spec that is in at least the A tier. Unless I'm missing one, I think every single spec has had at least one combination that's at least A tier.
are expecting it to be nerfed. Back at our tier wall here, we have Diabolist Destruction Warlock.
This
We're
is
gonna
all
give this
written
one
in
a B.
stone, and no adjustments will be made for the season. No, I know that's fine, but you want to start. You want the best start possible, right? Yeah, of course, Blizzard going to make changes throughout the patch and everything else, but why not have a good start? Why do we want to start out of the gate fucking tripping over our own balls and then have to fix everything on the back end? No, we want to start good and then finish good. So hopefully this is we're looking right now. Medium start. I think this still looks better than the way we started the expansion with the tier set bonuses that were literally just stat bumps. That's it.
E. Floating eyeballs fling fire for you? Awesome, someone said. But limited uptime caps the real gain. Looking at Hellcaller Destruction Warlock, we're gonna give this one an S. Someone called this a true meatball build. Reign of Chaos on demand, screen full of meteors.
There we go.
Meteors go kaboom. Back here at the tier wall, we have Colossus Arms
Warrior.
We're gonna give this one a C. Giant.
I want to see how Warrior pans out because I feel like the Warrior group or the people who play Warriors have been bitching a lot about the current state of Warriors.
Swing Fantasy sells itself. We have little sim data and people are expecting a nerf. Looking at Slayer Arms Warrior, we're gonna give this one a B. Someone said this looks mathematically solid, but emotionally flat. Does its job while putting chat to sleep. Looking at Mount Thane Fury Warrior, we're gonna give this one a surprise A. Lives on crit and haste
surprise
adrenaline.
A.
Play it right and your rage bar never empties. You still just be sad. Looking at Slayer Fury Warrior, we're gonna give this one a C. It's still hunting an identity, and it parses low enough that most just swap to the other hero talent.
Damn.
Looking here at our beautiful tier list, these are our last
Prot.
tier.
Okay, let's
we
see
have
Prot.
Colossus Protection Warrior. We're gonna give this one an A. Every proc hands you free rage. Shield block flows
That's
like water, and healers breathe easy. You can misplay this and do okay. Looking at Mountain Thane Protection Warrior, we're gonna give this one a B. This is a haste junkie's dream. Faster GCD, faster mitigation.
So again, that was the final tanking spec. He just went through them. No tank spec was S tier. All tank specs are A tier, though. So I think that means tank specs are looking pretty decent. Now, which one's going to be the meta? We'll see.
Raw damage is right behind Colossus. Thanks for checking out the video. Like, subscribe, or don't like it, or whatever you want to do. I'll see you guys back here a week before Season 3 starts when we amend the list. And see
We'll come back when he does that.
Druids? Who knows? So then, clean your belly button.
What?
Even comment.
Clean your belly button. Nice video. Yeah, overall, a nice set of tier set. Like I said, when we look at the final tally, right? This is when he finally had everything in there. I think most of it's sitting at, if we combine S and A, most of it's sitting in S and A if we want to be positive. At least it's tied with C. So it's either S and A or C. Every single class seems to have a viable version of their tier set bonuses, so that's good to see. Overall, nice video from Madison. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'll link it in the chat.